The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical, paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com and use the promo code MANWHORE. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
What's up, you cock gobblers, you turkey tops, you pilgrim pussies, you basted bottoms? This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Hey, what's up, everyone? It is your host, comedian Billy Procida, with a failing body right now. I don't know what's going on. I am so fatigued. I was sick, I was better, I was at an orgy, and now I'm sick again. Hey, why me? People, why me? But don't worry, I'm still here to tell you we've got a great episode. We've got fellow stand-up comedian and polyamorous podcaster and fellow thirst trap poster, Madelein Smith, everybody. This is a great one. Oh my gosh. I wish I had more energy so I could act more enthused right now about it. But I don't got it in me right now, and I apologize. You know, I had a rundown of a lot of things I want to talk about and do. But I have tried napping, I've tried drinking water, and I don't know why, but I feel like I need to be back in bed. So, I'm going to try to truncate a lot of this stuff. First thing, happy Thanksgiving, aka National Genocide Day. Don't worry, I don't think we have to stop celebrating Thanksgiving. I just want you to go like, oh, this turkey drum does taste like mass murder. That's all. This is just my annual reminder to please, in the current climate that we are in, if you have a Trumpy family that you're going back to right now as you're listening to this, if you are the child of one of those 47% of white ladies I've got beef with, if you have a father who is like, what, it's not racist, because they think racism is refusing to serve a black guy and calling him the N-word, or you got an uncle who's all like, nah man, that's Bruce Jenner, no matter what he says. This is a call for you to make American Thanksgiving uncomfortable. Again, Matua. We'll get hats later. I just think you all have an obligation, if you know that that's something you're going home to. At a bare minimum, I don't need you to necessarily solve their ignorance all in one go, but at least start getting them on board with a different type of vote come next year. Because most immediately, that's what is important to me. So please do that. Here's the deal I made with my dad. I said, hey, I'm going to send you a video clip. It's like 5 to 8 minutes long. It's the end of that Bernie Sanders Brooklyn rally that I played for y'all earlier this month. But I'm sending him the clip where he's just talking about, will you fight for someone who's not like you? And I would love for him to consider not just accepting or tolerating different types of people, but in fact fighting for them, even if that fight is simply his vote. And in return, I agreed to not initiate any political conversations on Thanksgiving Day. And I even sweetened the deal, and I was like, hey, you can send me one article or video, and I will read or watch it sincerely. So I thought that was a sweet deal. That's one thing I tried to do. And if you come from a super liberal, household, then congratulations. Take the day off of calling each other out for microaggressions. You get a day off. If your whole family's voting right, you can have a nice meal. A lot of half the country needs to matua. Oh, my body, my bones, everything. It's just achy. It's weird. It feels like things don't want to move. And my gums are just throbbing. I woke up this morning, throbbing cock. 7 o'clock tonight, throbbing gums. Don't know what happened. Knowing y'all, I'm probably going to get a lot of fan whore emails with gum-related suggestions, but I look forward to it. I don't know, at least there was like a sexy calm in the eye of this sickness hurricane, maybe, because I was sick, but then I was feeling good like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like I was Gucci. And I had a horny weekend. I really did. I'm not trying to say that to brag and be like, hey, guess who had sex? But A lot of y'all know I have a very fluctuating libido. It's been airing on the side of low most of this year. So to have a weekend where I'm just like nonstop fucking like, hey, where can I put this dick? Where can I put it? Where can I put it? Huh? Had a random accent blowjob experience on Friday night. I went to Hacienda with my girlfriend. We had a fucking blast. She edged me for hours before like her and our threesome friend like made me beg to come. Fun fact, apparently I'm not good at begging. Remember I once said I wasn't good at spanking? Well, begging is the new frontier for me. I gotta learn how to do that better. Sunday, we pretty much had an all-day fuck fest. And then I woke up this morning just throbbing cock. I was like, all right, I feel back to an old self of mine, and that's nice. And now you couldn't pay me any amount of money to try to lift anything heavier than this microphone. But hey, hopefully I'll wake up tomorrow or something and be good. Like I said, I had a rundown of stuff, but I don't know. Thank you, Patrons Day. Yeah, last week we had Thank you, Patrons Day. All the creators on Patreon. We thanked our members, for being awesome. And I wrote a sweet little thing to my members, to the official fan horse. I gave them a nice list of reasons why I'm grateful. You want to hear them? I'm a little tired, so I'm sorry, but these are the 5 reasons why after 5 years in your ears, I say hashtag thank you, patrons. And the first one is I can jerk off at work. That's pretty dope. Number 2, y'all are some sexy motherfuckers, as I've learned in the Peep Show. Oh my gosh, just a bunch of thotties in there. Even the ones with dicks. I'm like, good dicks, dudes. Even the dicks that don't look that great, those dicks have personalities. It's like y'all are, and that's sexy. So y'all are some sexy folks. I said, you challenged me to create the amount of bonus content I put out on my Patreon, whether it's the nearly 200 bonus episodes or the writings that I've put up there from time to time, some of the nudes, I've been putting up different types of content because I feel obligated to give y'all more. You deserve it. And it's allowing me to kind of experiment, and that feels cool. And it feels cool to share them with, my Patreon community. Piggybacking off of that, number 4 was this is my safe space. Yes, the podcast does mostly feel like the safe space, but like my girlfriend listens to this. People can listen to this. Paige might be listening. I have no fucking idea anymore. So it's nice to have a space I can go write and put things if I need to. Podcasts can be lonely, so y'all are kind of like the close things to friends and family I got sometimes. But mostly the big thing is y'all whoreheads are really kind. Y'all are way too kind. Like every year at ManWhoreCon, there's at least a couple of attendees who are also patrons, and they're always asking if they can help me. Oh, can we help you clean up? Can we help that? Can I carry that for you? No, y'all paid to have a good fucking time. Stop being so sweet. So, shout out to my fan whore community on Patreon. This isn't even the fan whore appreciation moment, just to say I love you all deeply. And thanks for encouraging me to keep creating. What else we have on here? I had a wish list. You'll get an email on Monday, but it's that time of the year. We got Cyber Monday week next week. And if you wanted to ever get me something, I'm going to be blasting that out to my mailing list on Monday, as well as a sale in my merch store. So if you've ever been thinking about a t-shirt, panties, buttons, stickers, that's going to be coming up soon. Make sure you're on the mailing list. Go to manwhorepod.com. You can sign up for that there. Or as a bare minimum, just like, shout me on social media. Tell 5 friends about the podcast. You know the drill. I woke up this morning like feeling good. Not only was my cock throbbing hard and pulsating just on its own without me touching it, I did not check for pre-cum, but I would not be surprised. but I felt being like, oh, I didn't binge last night. I didn't go eat a bunch of shitty food and stuff myself stupid. I was fairly reasonable considering how shitty my regular dietary intake is. And then I went to the bathroom and I came back to my room and, there's a box, a tub of chocolate covered pretzels next to my bed. Yeah, I crushed that. Oops, forgot. I do that a bit. I forget that I ate things till the next morning. Oddly enough, but the achiness I'm feeling is not like ate a bunch of chocolate achiness. I don't know. Let's play Cast That Porn. Let's see how much that wakes me up or not. Cast That Porn brought to you by HotMovies.com. I'm going to describe an adult film that's available on HotMovies.com, and I'm going to recast it with some more recognizable names. This week, we're going to recast Auntie Tricia and Friends, Volume 12. This is a senior citizens adult film. I'm talking like 60s and 70s senior citizens. It was actually added today that I'm recording this on Tuesday. So I feel like there's 12 volumes. It's mostly a service timestamps of when they're still alive. Honestly, I'm looking at this thing and it kind of looks like a commercial for what really goes on at an old folks home. I feel like these people got together as a gag and said, fuck it, we're old. Let's shoot a porno. Life is short. We're going to be done soon. Who cares? We're retired. But then like Auntie Tricia got really invested and just kept it going for 12 volumes. You know, like a bad podcast where there's one host who's super serious about their show that no one listens to. But this is Auntie Tricia and Friends.
They are not on everything.
Oh, they're British. Oh, this just got even better. I was about to read the description. Auntie Tricia and her friends are back up to their kinky antics.
Oh, yes.
That is 100% what your grandmother sounds like when you lick her nipples, everybody. Just wanted to let you know. I would hate for you to sit at the Thanksgiving dinner table and think Granny ain't getting it. Honestly, this lady's got a really great rack, all things aside. Well, I don't know. I think for the soft blonde with a lot of dialogue, I'm going to go with Betty White because you know that she's not going to have a heart attack. She's going to fuck. I feel like Betty White's going to die fucking. We'll never know. They'll hide that information, you know, kind of like Who Shot JFK. But that's my guess. I'm going Betty White. And then for the older lady with a surprisingly nice rack, I'm going to go with Mary Steenburgen, mostly because I don't think people talk about Mary Steenburgen nearly enough. She is such a babe. Is he wearing stockings? I think he's wearing stockings. This is a freaky old guy. You know who I think would be like a surprisingly good look as an older man wearing stockings? I'm going to go with Samuel L. Jackson. Oh my God, and Samuel L. Jackson's wearing a wig. This is a full-on cross-dressing here's what it's like watching senior citizen porn. It's like hardcore pornography, but slowed down. All the fingering and sucking and fucking and dildos are slowed down. But hey, good for Betty White and Mary Steenburgen, who's a babe, and Samuel Jackson. You know, hey man, Nick Fury can wear stockings and a wig and some nice jewelry. You do you, boo boo. And that's been Cast That Porn. HowMovies.com is a pay-per-minute porn site, which makes it both an ethical and affordable way to hashtag pay for some of your porn. And HowMovies.com is going to give Man Whore Podcast listeners 20 free minutes to play around with on top of any package you sign up for. So you can sign up for the free trial, you get 40 minutes, and you can use those 40 minutes to watch Auntie Tricia and Friends, Volume 12, or any of the other preceding volumes until we get Auntie Tricia and the funeral. Go to hotmovies.com, use promo code MANWHORE for your bonus minutes. One more time, that's hotmovies.com, promo code MANWHORE. Well, that was a thing. I really was not sure what to expect with that one. I think I'm going to start inviting people to come on to the show briefly and play some Cast That Porn. I'm going to get some friends over to play this game. I think it can be a fun game. Before I bring on this week's guest, Madelein Smith, let's do a quick fan whore appreciation moment. Okay. This is the part of the show I like to give some specialized shout-outs to members of the fan whore community on Patreon. Right now, I want to give a big old thank you to Jimmy Manning, which is such a great name. It sounds like a wholesome quarterback recruit from Nebraska. He just wants to support the troops and throw touchdowns. He doesn't understand why everyone's so angry. Thank you, buddy, for your support. Shout out to Don Wagner, who the only thing I know about this guy is that he loves fishing and the Man Whore Podcast. Rock on, dude. Big old thank you to Emma Redick. Let's just say she's a woman with a very special set of skills. Okay, I don't want to disclose, but they're both messy and pleasurable. Way to go, Emma. And a thank you to Will, who, you know, anyone ever tell you look like a young Harold Ramis? This is a compliment. It's a good thing, dude. I want to cast you in a reboot of Stripes. It's Stripes, but it's you and Auntie Trisha. How's that? And you too can become a member of my fan whore community and enjoy a slew of great rewards. Become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Yes, Patreon has an app. Yes, you can use the app as a member, but no, you cannot use the app to find the show to pledge because I am what they call an adult creator. Because once in a blue moon, I post my dick on Patreon, and I also talk about a lot of naughty stuff. So I'm not allowed to be naturally discoverable in the search feature. You have to go directly to the URL. But after that, you can use the app all you want. That's fine. All right, Madelein Smith, everybody. I had a great conversation with her. She is a really funny stand-up comedian. She is poly. She has her own podcast called 2 Date Minimum, which you can hear me on. I had a 2-part episode recently. I didn't tell you about it because on there I was talking about my girlfriend, and at the time, well, I hadn't told you I had a girlfriend, so I had to keep that exclusive for myself. All right, now let's go hear me chat with comedian and podcaster Madelein Smith.
I'm really bad with technological stuff. I'm like really, really bad at it. It's like embarrassing.
How do you like manage your do you use Google Gcal for the poly schedule? Because like I won't do it because I'm intimidated by Google Calendar. Mm-hmm. Like I have my iCal on my phone and I know how to use that. I don't want to change things.
Phil and I have a shared calendar, and when I'm going to hang out with the girl, I was going to say her name, but now we're recording.
You can also, if you say her name, I can beep it. Just let me know.
I don't care, but I feel like she cares because she's like a lawyer and she's like being professional.
Well, if it's easier for you to say her name and just tell me to beep them later, just let me know.
Okay, all right. When I go to hang out with my girlfriends, I put it in the calendar so that he knows that I'm going to go do that. So he's not like, I put most things in the calendar, like shows and stuff. And I feel like that is like another, you know.
Did you have to like learn how, did you struggle with the technology of a Gcal?
Yeah.
Like, oh no. Like, is it attached to my Apple ID or is there a login? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I lost everything that was on my fucking phone when my phone broke because I didn't like back any, I don't know how to like back things up. Although, well, someone showed me at the Apple store now because I was really sad that I lost all my stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, I
also don't trust.
Yeah, I know.
The cloud.
I know, right?
I don't trust
because you're like all my nudes and stuff. Well, not that you don't really care about.
I don't mind. If anything, I insist that my nudes be shown to everyone. It's more like all the nudes of other people on my phone that I'm more concerned with. Because like, look, if anybody here wants to hack in my phone, like you will hit the gold mine.
Yeah,
gold mine. I don't know what it's called.
That's right.
You'll strike gold. Yeah. There's a lot on there.
Yeah.
But, they stay to myself and they're not linked to the cloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was talking last night with Kate. Do you know Kate Sisk, who's a comedian? She's like, I mean, I don't know. There's so many comedians in New York. So if you don't know her, that's fine.
I'm so unpopular. So I don't.
You're like, I don't know.
There's anyone. A lot of people I don't know because I'm too terrified to put myself in situations.
Well, that's understandable, honestly. I get that. But I was talking to Kate Sisk last night, who is I was going to say lesbian comedian, but she's just a queer comic. I'm not 100% sure of her sexuality. Okay. So I'm not trying to box her in.
You don't know which letter it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She's queer, which is just everything. So we were on the train to Peekskill because we did like a Trevor Project fundraiser show in Peekskill, which was really, it was really cool. It was like me and like 7 other queer comedians. And she was...
In Peekskill, of all places. Wouldn't it be where I would guess the Trevor Project show would happen?
I know, it was a little bit weird.
That's great.
But it was a diverse community, sort of. Not really. They were like saying it was. They were like, it's so diverse here. And I was like, it doesn't look like it. Looks like old white people.
It's diverse for upstate New York.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's for sure like
maybe
a small
Oswego
town.
Or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It was like, kind of. But we were on the train coming back to Grand Central, and she was like, so you said in your set you have a girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, do you want to see her picture? And I was showing her pictures, and I was like, I also have pictures of her boobs, but I didn't.
I like you threw that in there unnecessarily. Like,
I have
pictures of her boobs.
And Kate was like, you don't have to show me those. And I was like, well, I wasn't going to. I just wanted you to know.
I want you to know I
have pictures of
get
her
it.
boobs, okay? And then Kate was like, whenever she said whenever her girlfriend sends her a sexy pic that she like looks at it and deletes it. And I was like, I would never do that. I have like everyone's nudes on my phone, which maybe is bad, but I'm not going to delete them. I want to look at them.
All the exes, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
When I want to have a sad jerk,
yeah.
I'm going to go look at all the fun shit that we
Yeah.
used to do together when we were naked.
Yeah, except for, well, now I don't anymore since I lost everything from my old phone. But I used to have like 10 different people's nudes, like guys and ladies. So yeah, I didn't know you were supposed to delete it. I didn't know that was like, what are you? Kate was like, that's the nice thing to do. And I was like, is it?
Is it? They don't
I don't
know.
know.
It's not,
Yeah,
it doesn't
I don't
actually have
know.
any effect on their life.
Yeah, I'm not like sending their nudes out to people. I just have them on my phone.
Right.
So what does it matter? I don't know.
Exactly. It doesn't actually
Yeah.
matter. It's more for someone's peace of mind. But I'm like, fuck your peace of mind. We broke
You
up.
sent it. Yeah, you sent it to
You
me.
dumped
I don't
me.
know.
I don't care about your peace of mind anymore.
Yeah, right?
That's kind of how it works.
Kinda. Well, and also I would never do like revenge porn or something. I'm not like posting it. I just mean like if I like hooked up with someone who's really hot and they sent me like a nude, I'm for sure gonna keep it on my phone.
Yeah.
Like,
although I've
totally.
recently been a lot more into I've been spank banking this particular 2019 for some reason. I've been like really using a memory bank more than the visuals. Like I'll put a visual on my computer or like I'll play some porn, but like I almost won't even be watching it. Like I'll have it almost as sound and I'll just be thinking. I think that's the thing about if you have a cool sex life, you really can just go to the bank and there's no need for the porn.
Yeah.
I just think about this orgy, that threesome, that time she put that thing in that place. Like,
yeah, you have a very wild sex life, though. I think that
bet
yours
you.
I don't think it's as wild as yours. I feel like yours is much more wild.
I think yours is wilder than people expect yours to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think people think I'm more wholesome or something. I don't know why.
100.
I don't know why. I guess
100%.
because I'm friendly or something. I don't know. I
You
don't know.
smile a
why.
lot.
Yeah, I'm smiley and friendly. So people are like, oh, so you're just boring. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
And you're like, I changed my hair color. And they're like, well, this is probably just in the anime. It's not probably a
yeah,
sex thing.
I am really into anime. So
You're
that's
just like,
true.
why
Yeah.
can't anyone think I'm a hoe?
No one thinks.
No.
I don't know what it is.
Although apparently you make out a lot at the creek in the cave. I don't know. According to your Facebook post or
I
something.
think that was someone else that you were thinking of. You were saying that when you did my podcast, and I was like, I don't think I ever made out at the creek in the cave. Did I?
But it seems like you hook up with comics. That was more the
I
commentary.
did,
was-
yeah. I used to. I hooked up, not really that many. I hooked up with like 5 or 6 comics, and then I was like, I don't know. It wasn't very good.
When I hear about comics who hook up with each other, I go like, the only people I don't hook up with are comics, and I felt like I was missing out.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, where's all this comedian making out happening? I want to.
You're not.
I want to join.
Though. You're not, because I feel like it's very annoying and incestuous, and then like sometimes it's very disingenuous too. Like people will like hook up with you, and then you're like, are they hooking up with me because they like me or because they think I'm gonna like help them in some way? Like I
Oh,
feel
if
like
only.
yeah, right. or like not that I'm like so far ahead of these people, but like one person that I hooked up with was like asking me to like, they were like, oh, when you go like and do these dates, can I come with you? And I was like, oh no.
What?
I don't. Yeah, they thought that, I don't know. It was like kind of weird. It was kind of weird and bad. And then I was like, maybe I just shouldn't hook up with comedians, because I also wouldn't want to be like that. I wouldn't want to hook up with a comic who's more successful than me and then be like wanting something from them, you know?
I wish I could.
Yeah, I wish I could too.
But it's also if you're hooking up with people like say at open mics, then like you're the person that can help them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like who I was. I didn't hook up with any comics who are like way more successful than me. They were kind of at the same level or like lower level, so it wasn't that helpful.
Well, this is a good time to say that I'm here with a fellow comedian and podcaster, Madelein Smith.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello. I didn't realize that we hadn't introduced myself.
I find a place and a time and I fade in.
You did it. You did a good job.
And we're there. Oh, thank you. You did bring up the like, are we supposed to delete nudes? I'll give you another one. This happened to me last year in the midst of a big old bad breakup. What's your stance on the social media posts that feature y'all together? Do you think you're obligated, or whether or not obligated, does the person have a say in you deleting pictures of you two together after the breakup?
Oh yeah. I don't know because I've never been in that situation really. But I don't know. I guess that
I had
you
an ex who
can.
just like, she demanded that I take all of her photos off of us together off of my Instagram. She claimed that she demanded it and that wasn't true. She had never asked me to until she went on Facebook. It was like, Billy refuses to take my pictures down. I'd be like, you never asked me to.
Damn.
But also I don't have to. Fuck off. Like,
yeah.
we
Well,
look
and
cute.
why? Yeah. And
Like-
also why? I don't, because it was a part of your life. So why deny that part of your life happened? Unless the person was like truly like abusive to you or something and you don't, and you
or
can't
vice
look
versa.
at it.
In theory.
Yeah.
Not that it was, but
But I mean, like, I feel like why lie or why hide a part of your life?
the
I
other
don't know.
part. So, I had to do it because they started like bringing other people involved. And so I was just getting yelled at enough that I was like, I'll just do it. But
I
here's,
don't really fully understand why though.
I don't know if it was like a control thing or what. I'll tell
Yeah.
you this. The painful part for me was that meant that I had to go back to the beginning of our relationship. And this particular instance took place 6 months after the breakup. I had to go relive our relationship.
Oh, that sucks.
Deleting a picture isn't always the simplest. It's a lot of taps involved.
Yeah.
And so I just went through 2 years of relationship, deleting everything, rereading all of the tweets, the
horrible.
sweet stuff. And then it slowly builds to the breakup. And I'm like,
It's terrible.
I hope this was, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't know.
No, and that sounds so painful. I would like cry so much.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
did.
too.
There were a couple
I
pictures
would
of like,
too.
oh, that was a really great day.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh God. Yeah. That would like hurt my heart too much, I think. I would be too sad. And I also don't like have anyone that like I mean my first boyfriend that I had, that was like a very bad and dramatic thing, but that was like a long, long time ago because I was
We're talking high school, college?
yeah, like high school. High school. I was like 15 to 17.
What was the dramatic part of it?
Well, the dramatic part was that he was just like mentally unwell. And I like didn't realize that he was mentally, I don't think that he realized he was mentally unwell.
They tend not to.
Yeah. And I didn't know because I was like 15, 16, 17. So I was like a child. And I was like, why is he like, because he would be really nice to me and then he would be like really mean. And it was like very back and forth. And I was like, why is he always like mad and yelling at me? And then he's nice. And my parents were like mad about it, but I think that they didn't know how to like handle it either. So they were just like, why are you like dating this person? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel bad for him.
Oh.
Just like so sad. But not that I just like, that wasn't the only reason I was dating him. But then I think I got stuck in it because I like felt bad for him. And then I found out later and then he like dated my friend. And in my 20s, he was dating my friend and they lived together. And then he started going crazy on her. And we found out that he was diagnosed with like schizophrenia. So it wasn't really his fault that he was going crazy, but like being with someone with schizophrenia is really hard because they like create scenarios where they're like, you were cheating on me, you were doing this, and you're like, that never happened. You're making up something that never happened.
Right.
So that was my first experience with dating. And that like fucked me up so bad. And now I talk about it in therapy all the time and I cry.
Really?
Yeah.
What I mean, how'd y'all met just in high school, I'm assuming?
Yeah, just in high school. I mean, we went to the same high school and
Where's-
he was 2 years older than me, so a little bit different.
Were there good things? Like, were there things
Yeah.
that kept you in the relationship that weren't, you feeling bad for the guy?
Yeah. No, we actually had a lot of fun together. And I feel like when you're that age, like a lot of your dating is kind of based on like sexuality because like you're so hormonal. So I just thought he was like really cute and I like really wanted to like have sex with him. And that was good. The sex was good. But and also when he was not being like, going kind of nuts, he really is like a good, nice person. I don't think it's his fault. I just think that it's like, it's really hard when you're dating someone who, I don't know if you've ever been in that situation, but when you're dating someone with mental illness, it's so hard because they're not doing it to you intentionally, but it still fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's still happening.
Yeah. And you're still like, why are you yelling at me? I didn't do anything. Like, I just felt like he would like get mad at me and yell at me a lot, but it was very dramatic because it would be like yelling and then like, oh, we're making up and we're having sex. And then it's like yelling again. It's like very unhealthy dynamic to be in. So
Were you a very sexual teenager, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
You were like, he was really cute and it was my first boyfriend. I just really wanted to fuck him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, basically.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
last night I was talking to an 18-year-old girl who's terrified to have sex for the first time.
I was like scared. I first had sex when I was 17, but we were like doing other stuff before that. But first I had like penetrative sex when I was like 17, but I was scared. But then I don't know. I was just like very sexual.
Did you also know you were bisexual in high school?
Yeah. I never thought of it as anything. I was just talking about this with like some other comics who were doing like a coming out show where they tell stories about coming out. And I was like, I never like came out. I just like always would like make out with girls. And then when I was like 18, I like had sex with a girl for the first time. And I don't know. I never thought anything of it. I was like, this is just normal.
You just were.
Yeah, I never told it. I never like made a big announcement. I think everyone just knew, and it was just I was in the Gay Straight Alliance and stuff. But like all my friends, most of my friends in high school were like gay or like some iteration of that.
You were a musical theater
Yeah.
person, so
Exactly.
which I learned from your stand up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's why. When did you start? So when did you start hooking up or dating women?
When I was 18 was the first time I hooked up like fully with a lady, and then
What
but
does that
I
mean fully?
I don't know. I just
Oh, there's where that upstate sensibility comes in.
Hey.
Oh, I don't want to say. I feel like you could also fit in like Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to
yeah,
say.
people always think that since I moved down here, people are always like, are you from the Midwest? I'm like, no, I'm only from like 5 hours north of here. But everyone's like, you seem like you're from the Midwest. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no. I guess I'm just just be so shy. I don't know.
I mean, really, the only difference between the Midwest and upstate New York is a Bills jersey.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like I don't.
It's true.
I also don't know how to tell the difference.
No, it's true because I was opening for a dude once and we were like out in like Minnesota and Wisconsin, and I was like, it is kind of similar. It's very cold and like everyone's kind of like, oh, we're all friendly, but then like kind of passive aggressive, I think, is like an upstate. And like so yeah, as far as hooking up, oh yeah, I just mean that was the first time that I like went all the way with a lady. Is when I was 18. Before that I had like smooched ladies, but that was like yeah. But I didn't really date a lady not like date until like now. I had like short-lived things, but not like an actual relationship until
How
now.
long's the girlfriend been going on?
It feels like a long time, but it's really not that long. I think it's like the same amount of time that you've been with your girlfriend. I
Yeah,
think
like
it's like
4 or 5
4 or
months.
5 months, yeah. Because it started I met her the very beginning of July.
And how'd you meet? Which app?
Through the Her app.
The Her.
It's like a really stupid app. It's really bad. Like it's really you just match with a lot of people, but no one like messages each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like 25 to 30 matches, but no one's talking to you. So
I can't remember last time I like dated someone for a long time who was not some kind of queer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they've all been on her and they'll be on her in front of me and and they all make the same complaints. Like, yeah, it's just like a lot of like talking and compliments.
Yeah.
You're so cute. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I like that dress.
Exactly.
Where'd you get it? Oh, we should totally hook up. And then nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much back and forth. That's what I like kind of don't like about flirting with other women is it is a lot of back and forth compliments. And sometimes it gets confusing because you're like, wait, do you want to like fuck or are you just being nice? Like, because women sometimes can be confusing like that. They'll be really friendly with other women and you're like, are you actually interested or are we just complimenting each other? I don't know.
And it's like, what's it sounds like you don't always make the aggressive move of saying, hey, do you want to fuck or something like that, right?
I should, but I didn't.
And maybe they're also having the same thought. So like, what's preventing you from making that move?
Yeah, I guess just not wanting to be like too aggressive and not wanting to be creepy I always like I'm trying to not be creepy towards women because I know as a woman like what it's like when a man is too aggressive towards you. And so I don't want to make other women feel that way. But then it is hard because I think then you get stuck in a loop of just being like, oh, I won't make the first move and then no one ever does. So it's just kind of hard.
Well, how is it? I mean, my natural response is like, oh, well, just like hit on her the way you'd want those dudes to be. Like the creepy dudes, it's not that they're the guys who are being too aggressive. It's not that they're making a move. It's probably the way in which they're doing it, I assume.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
imagine like, oh, why don't just do the way,
Yeah.
be the change or something.
Yeah.
But it is interesting in like, in a society where we condition women not to be aggressive and where you're supposed to, be hit on, then it's like when you're on her, it's, well, who's making this move? It's like, or it's like being on Bumble if you're matching with other women.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly, you're like, well, women are taught to not be the one who's like pursuing the partner. So I think that then in female relationships, you're just like, who is the one who should pursue? Like should the butch do it? And the femme is just wait. I don't know.
Whoever's wearing more flannel.
Yeah. Is that like you wait for
first.
the soft butch? The one who like fucking plays softball. You're like, I don't know. But I did message her first, but it was like it was silly. I just said, hey, which is the worst thing you could ever say.
If someone messaged me, because since I can't make the first move on Bumble, which I'm grateful for, but if she does open with just hey, I will respond hey right back. It's like you're not gonna throw this back to me. This is your app. This is your movement.
Exactly.
You come up with something stupid to say first.
I know. I don't even know why I did. I couldn't like think of anything to say. I was just looking at her pictures and I was like, oh, she's like so cute, but I didn't know what to say.
You're so cute is...
I know.
I think a great opener.
I should have just said that, but I didn't know what to say. It's very wild that she like went on a date with me and then like loved me because I feel like
it's just wild. Someone wants
crazy
to love
that anyone is in love with me. I do. I
it's
feel
like I got a
lucky.
husband, and then I thought like, well, there's no way more people are gonna.
I
love
know it is. I really do feel that way. I'm always very like taken aback by the amount of like love that I receive. I think it's like unfair sometimes because I'm like, I am not giving anything good in return. And so like sometimes I feel a little bit like that I'm like my cup runneth over with love.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've been with your husband for like a stupid long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
like 12 years. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I know
gross.
That is gross. I know.
How old are you again?
I'm only 29. I'm sorry, not 12 years, 11 years because I was 18.
So this guy was basically fresh off the schizophrenic dude.
Yeah, I broke up with the mean schizophrenic dude, and then Phil and I started dating like a few months after that.
That's how I prefer to do it because then the bar is just nice and low, and I can trip over it every day. I'm dating the other woman I've been seeing romantically. And I didn't intend on it this way, and it almost breaks my heart and makes me sad sometimes. But the most basic, nice action she is overjoyed by.
Yeah.
Because she's dated so many shitheads and has not she's never had anyone who just treated her nicely.
Yeah.
So just me saying, oh, how was your day? If I text her like, oh, how'd your day go? How were the kids? She's a nanny. So I was like, how's the kids?
Yeah.
She'll be like, she's just like, she'll melt just like someone asked how her day was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh honey, like
That's so sad.
I want you to demand more of me because you deserve more.
Yeah.
But also I love how easy this is.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm torn. It's like I can just show up with beer and weed and she's like, that's so nice of you.
Yeah.
No one ever does that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel exactly the same. And I don't know why. I guess it is when you date someone who's really horrible, you do get in your mind, you're like, well, I don't deserve anything. And then when someone is nice to you, you're like, oh my God, this is like amazing. And like, I do think I'm like better with it now because, Phil and I have been together for so long, but I still sometimes will like my girlfriend, she makes way, way, way more money than me. So she like always pays for like everything we do. And I feel so incredibly uncomfortable with it. And I like freak out about it all the time. And then sometimes I'm like, maybe just chill. Like she makes more money than you and she like wants to do it. So don't be weird about it. But I'm always like, oh my God, she thinks I'm a mooch or she thinks that I'm like a loser or, stuff like that.
For me, this happens with Megan because she makes way more money than me. It's like, because I can't just buy a thing, which in some ways could be easier.
Yeah,
so
I think it is.
So like tonight, I'm thinking about like what to do for date night because she's gonna come over. We had options to like go to a sex party. I don't know how much I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm like still at the tail end of a cold, so I don't want to. Like, I'm not going to get people sick, but I'm also not going to be sexy if I'm having this cough that's gross.
Yeah, yeah.
So we might not go to that tonight, but then I'm like, well, what do we do? And I've been like thinking of all the things. I have like an adult coloring book. There was a, Rachel, what's her fucking name? McCartney.
Oh yeah.
She's running an hour tonight, and I thought that would be good to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm like
that's
trying to
cool.
think of like day ideas. I told her like bring lingerie because if we don't go, like oh maybe I can like I clean like I swept.
It's very
and
clean in here.
I mean it's clean for me. You can, but that is
I
nice.
think it's clean.
That's nice of you.
It looks clean.
But I think, I'll do a thing. I'll tell her like, go put on some lingerie and put on your makeup, and then go in there, and then like I'll come out and like do some sort of like really over the top gesture.
Yeah.
Because
a gesture.
Because those things are free for me to do, but they are labor intensive.
Yeah. That's how I feel with. Like it's weird with like money dynamics because with my husband, I make more money than him. But then with my girlfriend, she makes more money than me. So I see the differences in our relationships and I'll be like, oh, like with Phil, I feel like I will just be like, I'll be like, well, I like pay most of our rent. So therefore, like I've like done what I need to do for him, like not that I don't like give him emotional support and love, but like, I'm like, this is like, but then I feel like with my girlfriend, she pays for so much stuff for me that I'm like, what do I like?
What can I do for you?
Yeah. So then sometimes I'll just try to like text her a lot of like very like loving and nice things and be, but then I'm also like, well, I feel like it's never enough, but I shouldn't be that way because money isn't really like that big of a deal in relationships. I make it out to be a big deal.
It is interesting that the position you put, the way you just described it, was a no-win situation, or whereas in you have to put it, you think you need to put an effort with the girlfriend because she's paying for the stuff, but with your husband because you're paying most of the rent, you don't. It sounds like you don't want to let yourself off the hook just because you're paying.
You're right. So either way, I can't. Yeah.
But for
tough.
me, like, I think like, if I could just go buy a necklace, and maybe I just like learn this from my dad. But it's like, if I could go buy a necklace, that probably is nice, but I can't.
Yeah.
So I got to think of like, how can I make Megan feel like a babe and loved and special?
Yeah.
With just my effort.
Yeah, well, Phil actually, like, since he hasn't been working full time since he like moved here, he's been trying to get full time jobs, but he just has a bunch of freelance jobs. He has done like a lot of just like, I guess it's like, it sounds sort of like a house husband kind of things, but he just like always cleans the apartment, always cooks food, always does stuff like that, and like that is so nice. Even though, like, you're like, oh, well, I can't, like, split the rent right now, and that sucks. But it's like, but that stuff is so nice. And so then I think, like, well, if I could just do stuff like little gestures like that, and that would be nice. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. I just have such a weird thing in my mind about money. I always feel like if anyone provides for me, then I'm, like, indebted to them or something. And, like, it's weird.
Well, what's, like, the sweetest gesture type thing you think you've done for... I'm just going to say with Phil, just because, like, you've basically been with him... Forever.
Like sweetest, like love kind of thing, like not a money thing.
Yeah, like you didn't, not a thing you went to go buy, unless the thing was super sentimental. Like, what's like a thing you did for him? And I'm going to take notes because maybe I can like. Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Can you brainstorm for me? No.
For him, I feel like it was probably like around the time when we like got married, and I wrote a lot of like very like emotional, vulnerable things, which I feel like is always kind of uncomfortable when you have to be, especially if it's like in a public forum, like if you're going to say it like in front of, like for our 1 year anniversary party, I like gave a little speech where it was very emotional, and it was like sort of embarrassing because like, even though I am very adept to speaking in front of people and like doing comedy, I feel like speaking in front of people and being vulnerable is like so embarrassing. So I think that doing that was probably one of the nicest things because I was like, I love him so much and I'm going to like tell all these people. And then, not that you have to do it publicly, but sure. I think it's just like, it puts you in a like kind of a vulnerable position. Yeah.
And so now how, you've been together 11 years. How long have you been married?
Almost 5 years.
And then how long have you all been practicing poly?
Well, in college it was like open, and we would be allowed to, like have sex with other people and stuff like that. But then it hasn't fully been polyamory, and it's only been like that for like a year or two. Okay. Yeah.
So what, I guess that's interesting. What when you initially started dating, did you all see yourselves as dating, as actual Because for me, when I've been in things that were, when I was, especially in college in my early 20s, I was with someone and it wasn't sexually exclusive, it was automatically seen as not serious.
Yeah.
Even if I'm being very, like, I'm the mushy-gushy one usually. So even no matter what I shared, I was always treated like I wasn't a serious prospect because it wasn't exclusive.
Yeah.
It was, which I always found interesting that we, like, no matter what is happening in this relationship, unless there's a sexual fidelity, it can't be considered serious.
Yeah.
So what were you all serious, and what were like the conversations and negotiations about being open?
Well, I think that we were really serious because I feel like we had been really good friends, and then like when we started dating, we were like, oh, we're like best friends.
Were
and
we all at high school together too?
We also went to the same high school. Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
I know.
Disgusting.
I know, it's so like upstate small town. I know it's like really gross, but we were really good friends, and we were like really close, and so I think that then we were like, okay, well, we really love each other, but also we're only 18. And when you're only 18, you can make a commitment to someone for the rest of your life, but like just to only have sex with like one person, that's like a pretty intense commitment, especially if you're someone like, for me, I've never really been able to be monogamous with people, and it would lead to me just like cheating on people, you know, like I didn't want to do that. I don't want to be like mean and shitty and sneaky about it, but I was also like, I just have a really hard time with this. Like, I don't know why, but it's really very difficult for me to just be with one person.
Also at 18, you know, as a bisexual, like, not that bisexuals can't be monogamous. I'm not saying
no,
that.
they can, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But as someone who like hadn't like basically not tasted pussy before, I imagine you'd want to like get your face in that at least a couple times
exactly.
before you hunker down with a dick for the rest of the time.
Exactly. Especially because I feel like with like women, I would like see so many women that I found attractive, and then like in college, you know, everyone's like, oh, I'm like bi-curious, and everyone's like drunk, and it's like wild party time. So I was like, I think I would have like missed out on a lot. Well, I think we both would have missed out on a lot if we were like, we can only be with each other during this time. But then actually after college, we kind of like closed it off because we were like, okay, now it's time to get serious. Like, we're adults or whatever.
That was the reasoning for it. Is like, well, now it's a serious relationship.
Yeah, I think it was because we like got engaged like pretty young, and we were like, okay, well, now it's time to get serious. But then once again, we were like, well, we're still so young, and there's like so many people out there, and it really does. Even if you're
it's like
in
everyone
love,
wants to fuck us, and why should we
wants
rob
to
everyone of
fuck
all of this?
I just think that like people have this like weird thought that like if you're in love, if you're truly in love, you'll only ever be in love with like one person, and you'll never want to fuck anyone else, which I think is like insane. Like, I think that's a crazy way of looking at things, because you're basically putting yourself in this like weird puritanical mindset where you're like, okay, I only have eyes for this person, and if I don't, then I don't love them. And that's where like so many relationship problems come from, I think, because people think if you cheat on someone, then you automatically like hate them and I'm not trying to say that cheating is good. I know it's not, but I just mean like, I think it's unrealistic to say, oh, you're only going to ever have feelings for one person. I think that's like crazy. So then we were like, actually, maybe we won't be monogamous. Maybe we'll like keep it open again. And then it kind of turned into polyamory, because then it was like, I started dating this person, and I was like, oh, I have really strong feelings for them. And then it kind of just, you're not just hooking up anymore. Then you're like kind of in a relationship with this other person too. And so I think that that's how it came about.
How long were you all monogamous for, would you say?
Like for like 3 years, I think.
Like 3 years?
Yeah.
So who's approaching who to like open it back up?
It was actually Phil, which was so weird because he's such a little shy baby. But he was like, okay, like maybe we could.
There's
I don't
a girl
know,
at work.
Yeah, I know.
It's usually someone at work.
Honestly, I would have to ask him, because I don't know what it like. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. He was just like, we don't have to be monogamous. And I was like, okay.
Oh, you were just like on board? Like,
yeah,
thank God you said it?
I was cool. But honestly, I think I could have done monogamy for longer. I don't think that like I can't do it. I just think that to me, it feels a little bit like forced.
It's like you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And why do something you don't want to do?
Yeah. But like, I don't think that it's either is like right or wrong. I just think that sometimes with monogamy, you're putting a lot of pressure on one person to be everything for you. And that's a little wild, I think.
Is Phil not everything for you?
Yeah, not really. I mean, that sounds mean.
That's a real answer.
He is.
What
in some ways.
I'm sure he like is most of the things.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you find you don't get from your marriage that you can find with, say, your girlfriend or the boyfriend, or with, whatever comic you finger blast in the creek bathroom? I did not realize, by the way, how many like blowjobs happen in the Creek and the Caves bathroom.
Yeah,
but I've been hearing more and more stories, and like, hi.
You're like, what about me? What about me?
Yeah. What about
me?
Your act outs are so fun. I love that little persona character that you do, that little voice.
Voice
it's
that I do.
so fun.
Thank you. It is gross though. The Creek and the Cave, the bathrooms are really gross.
Well, the bathroom's gross,
They're
and
gross.
then to know that everyone's banging in them except you is gross. You know what would make it not gross? If I was getting the bang in the bathroom too.
Ew, but the bathrooms are
All of a
so
sudden I'd be
nasty.
like, it's not that bad.
Oh, they're so nasty.
But yeah, like what are some
is
things
it?
that you don't get from that relationship that is totally fine and cool, and he recognizes like, I can't give that to you, that you do get elsewhere.
I'm trying to think of, because I don't want to be like an asshole, but like
An asshole. It's not being an asshole if you're being honest.
That's true. And he already like knows. I'm not like lying.
I would imagine in 11 years you all have hashed this out.
Yeah, and we go to therapy together. So I mean, we go separately, and then sometimes we go together. So
Okay.
we got it all figured out. Not all figured out, but we're working on it. It's just that like we have been together for so long, and I feel like sometimes our relationship becomes more like, the longer you're with someone, the more it becomes like a friendship camaraderie thing. And the sex, even if you have good sex, it does start to dwindle. Like you'll never have, like people always want to like say, oh, you can like bring the spark back, you can do all this. And you can, but you'll never have what you had within like the first year. Like
within the first 36 hours.
Yeah.
Like that first date where like it's accidentally like a 36-hour date because they sleep over, but then it's like, I'm not going to go home. Then you fuck all afternoon. It's
Exactly.
like, well, let's go out and have drinks. And then they sleep over again. And you're like, wow, well, now we're in love, I guess.
I love that. I love that time. That's like so fun. That's so fun. And you like, and sure, you don't need to have that to have a fun life, but it is fun. And like when it's been like over 10 years, you just will not have that. You'll have this like deep understanding of each other where you're like, oh, we love each other so much, and we don't have to be talking, and we can just hang out, and we can like joke around, and we can go out to brunch, and it's so fun. But you're never gonna reclaim that like original crazy sexual like chemistry. And also like honestly, it just, we went through like some really hard times because Phil has like clinical depression, and he like was not on medication and not going to therapy for a long time and was like undiagnosed. So I was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Like, I mean, clearly like now I'm like, okay, the like sleeping for like 14 hours or the like not being able to get himself going or having all this like anxiety with job interviews or stuff like that. That's all like very typical like things for people who have major depressive disorder, but I didn't know. And I was like, it feels like he like never wants to have sex with me, and I don't understand why. I was like, what's wrong with me? And then like come to find out it was because of that. But I think that during that time it was really hard because I was like, he never wants to have sex with me. And also when you're depressed, you don't really want to like leave the house. You don't want to do anything. Now he's doing like so much better because he's like goes to therapy, takes a mood stabilizer and antidepressant, and he's like way better. But that was hard. And I think during that time I kind of did need like something from someone else because I was like, I need someone who like, you know, wants to go out and do things with me or wants to have sex with me or something like that. And now I don't really feel like I need that from someone else, but maybe it kind of came out of that, of feeling like very like unappreciated.
Yeah. What would that feel like?
It sucked. It was really bad. It was really bad. It was the worst. I felt very sad.
How far into the whole relationship did this start becoming an issue?
Well, I guess when we first got together, like in high school, I was like, I don't really know what his deal is because I knew he was really smart and funny, but he would like constantly be failing classes, I remember. And I was like, why is he failing? He's really smart. Like, I don't understand. And then in college, he would be like, either
Were
like,
you at college together too?
oh yeah, we went to the same college
both
too.
fucking
I know, isn't that so
barf.
codependent? Isn't that gross? It's like
Oh.
codependency times a million. But honestly, it wasn't because we were dating. We just got accepted to the same college. I swear to God. I swear to God. So yeah, we went to the same college, Fredonia, and he would either be like on the dean's list or he would be like failing. So it would be like so extreme. And I was like, I don't understand like what's wrong. But then during college, it was like binge drinking, like craziness, like so much drinking. But he
Are
would
y'all
drink.
fucking during this?
Yeah, we were, but he had like a lot of just like kind of sexual issues. Like I feel like he was kind of like his family, he grew up like kind of repressed and like he would like feel really like shameful about
So we're
things.
talking about like boner issues or like
Yeah, like
Okay,
that.
that's
But
fine.
then also just like feeling like embarrassed about like wanting to do like something dirty or like I don't think he was like very in touch with himself.
Sure.
And his family is they're super friendly, but they're pretty conservative.
Well, when did the sex start like waning that you started questioning what was going on there?
I think right after we graduated when we were like 22. And then I started sleeping with my coworker at the time, which is a lot, and that's never really good, you know, because it's like it creates a strange work environment. But I think the reason I was sleeping with my coworker was because he just seemed so like he like was a little bit older and he like had his life together and he was like happy and wanted to have sex, and it seemed like the opposite of Phil, who I didn't realize it was because Phil was like struggling so much. But I was just like, oh, Phil is fucking like at home, he won't do anything, he's like sad and lethargic, and I wish that I had known why. But I think when you're 22 it's kind of hard to like have the same level of emotional intelligence and empathy that I would have now.
Also, like in your 20s, like even now, but especially back then, it's like, why aren't we fucking all the time? We're
Sure.
22. Like,
Yeah.
aren't you a walking hard on and
Yeah.
all that stuff?
Yeah. Which is like, that's such a toxic way to think, I think. But like, it is hard because that's what society tells you. It's like, you're young, you should be fucking. And then if you're not, you're like, why? Like, what's wrong? You know? So that made it kind of difficult.
Yeah. Did that like, did that affect your self-esteem at all? Or were you like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with him because I'm a hottie or whatever?
No. It did make me feel like bad about myself. Like I was like, I guess I'm not like attractive, or I'm not like doing a good enough job of making him be interested in me and stuff like that. So I would feel that way. I did feel bad about myself. I don't now, but I did at the time.
During that, I mean, right after college is one of those like transitionary times. Relationships can sometimes get broken off right there just because, okay, cool, now we go to the next phase and it's not appropriate to keep this moving on.
Yeah.
So with the drop off in sex and the depression, was there was there a moment where you ever thought that y'all were going to break up?
Yeah. For a while we were broken up, like low key broken up. Like I was living in an apartment in Rochester and he like kind of was living with me, but then kind of not. So it was kind of just my apartment. And we were sort of broken up. But I think what was hard was that like I never felt like, even though all those things were happening and they were so horrible, I never felt like that was the person that I knew. Like I was like, this isn't really him. This is just like something else that's like kind of taking over him and making him sad all the time and making him not want to have sex. Because he himself is really like a fun-loving, fun person. So I knew that there was something. I just didn't know what it was until I think it was like when he was like 25 or 26 was when he went to a doctor and they were like, hey, you have really bad depression. And they were like, it's real bad. We got to put you on some like medication or else you're not going to be able to like function. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That can't be. Yeah, that it doesn't. I mean, it obviously doesn't sound easy to be in his shoes, but it also doesn't sound easy to be the wife of someone struggling with that.
Well, I think that's what's hard with like mental illness is like I just watched Gary Gulman's special.
Oh,
you know,
I can't wait to watch that.
It's really good.
One, because
It's really
Goldman's
good.
just hilarious.
So
and I
funny.
wake up on most mornings and I think, why isn't Gary Goldman more famous?
Yeah.
Like that's just how I felt about him for forever.
Yeah.
But also I've heard such great things about what he's doing, talking about depression.
It's really good. It's really, really good. But the only thing is like, there's a big emphasis in the special. There's like a part that's like a lot about his wife, where it's like his wife was so supportive and she was always there for him and she would like always go to the doctor with him. And I think that like there's like this mentality that when someone is like mentally ill, that there's like this strong, supportive spouse and they're like keeping it together. And like, that's great to be that way. But also like, it fucking sucks. Like it sucks because you also have to maintain your job and your like finances and your life and your mental illness or your problems on top of maintaining this other person's. And I think it's kind of similar to like being a parent, because you're like, I literally have to take care of this person like all the time. And then people will be like, oh yeah, his wife or her husband or whoever, their spouse was like really there for them. But at a certain point you're like, this is like really hard. Like being there for someone is tough, you know?
What are you doing to take care of yourself in those moments? Like, is the non-monogamy part of the thing you fall back on? Like, is it like, okay, I have to take care of him, but like, cool, I'm going to go fuck, Jennifer and then it's going to be fine. Or
like, see you later.
yeah. Or like, did you have other like coping mechanisms where you can keep your sanity?
I think that it used to just be like bad coping mechanisms. Like I would just be like, well, if I just like smoke a bunch of weed, or if I like just have sex with a bunch of people, then maybe I won't feel so resentful, or I won't be like so upset about this. But that didn't really work. I mean, those things don't really work. I think now the best thing that I can do is just be like, now that I go to therapy, I think the best thing I can do is just be like, hey, I'm really sorry that you like feel this way and I don't want you to be upset, but also be aware that there's like truly nothing that I could do to make it better except for to like be there for him. Like he had like a bad day like a couple days ago, and he doesn't normally have them, but he had like one where he was really, really bad and he like didn't do anything all day and he was just really upset and he like couldn't do like dishes or jobs or anything. And I feel like the old me would have been like annoyed about that. But now I'm just like, it's okay. You can just like, I tried to tell him, I was like, tomorrow is like a new day and you'll probably feel better and you can probably do that stuff. And then it was fine. He really did feel better like the next day. So I think it's just like a not feeling like it's your responsibility to like make the person happy. Because like when you're in love with someone, you want to make them happy, but you like can't sometimes.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. And that's what sucks, is because you're like, I really want to do something.
Because like, I love this person.
Yeah.
Like, my modus operandi, like with anyone who I have strong feelings for, like my love sometimes expresses itself through like, obligation sounds bad, but like to me, that's a loving thing. Like that if I feel obligated to someone, it was like, oh, I must give a lot of shits.
Yeah.
To say like, oh, I'm not going to go to this because of that, or I'm not going to say this because it might hurt them, because most time I don't give a fuck, and people can take it or leave it. But to feel obligated or to want to do like whatever I can, or like if I'm willing to drop everything in a moment to make someone feel better, then I'm like, I probably love that human.
Yeah. And that's a big part of it, is like you want to do things for them because you want them to be happy and you just like want what's best for them. And you'll like, I think for me too, like being the kind of person who's kind of like a control freak, I'm like, well, how can I like make the situation better? What could I like do? And like, I sometimes would be like, well, what can I change about the situation or like his situation? What's in my power to make it better? But lots of times there's just like nothing that you can't. You
gotta weather that storm.
Yeah. And that's like even worse, because then you're like, I really have no control over this. Like there's like nothing I can do. And that's like, that does suck. But it honestly has been like a lot better the past couple years. So I think it'll be okay.
You like your shrink?
Yeah. He's great.
How'd you find, so how's the shrink, did your therapist already know about, did your therapist already know about like poly, and were they already familiar with all that, or did you kind of have to introduce them to this concept? Because I think one of the common questions I'll get over the years is, how do I find a queer friendly, kink friendly, sex positive therapist, someone who doesn't see the non-monogamy as a symptom or anything like that? So I don't know if you two had to shop around at all at first, or if this guy just kind of got it or what.
I don't know if he had like ever had patients who were like that before, who were like polyamorous and stuff before, but he did seem like he understood it pretty easily when we told him. Like when we first went in for the first couple sessions, we went together and we told him and he seemed like he got it. And then I do really like him, although like recently he said something that was like a little annoying where he was like saying about how what did he say? He said something about how he was like, well, maybe you're just like using all these people to like fill a void. And I was like, that's a fair thing, fair thought. But also it like makes it sound as if like having multiple partners is like a problem. Like it's like something that you're doing because you just can't be alone, or like, which might be true. But I just mean like, I think that sometimes people are like, this is like a problem that needs to be solved. And I'm like, okay, but would you say that to someone who is just married to one person? Would you say they're like trying to fill a void? And he was like, yeah, I would still say that. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine then.
You just want to make sure it's coming from the right place. Like,
yeah.
if someone thinks the non-monogamy is an issue, you want to make sure that they think it's an issue for you and not just an issue.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I think what he was saying, and then the more we talked about, I think what he was saying was like that I sometimes will just be like really upset or sad about something, and then I'll like try to fill that sadness with like having sex with people. Yeah. And he was like, that's not great. Like you shouldn't just like have sex because you're sad. It doesn't like make your sadness go away. You'll still be sad. You just won't be sad for however long you're having sex, but then when it's done, you'll still be sad.
Yeah, for sure. I used to do a lot of that. Only in the last maybe like a year have I not been always trying to fill voids with it's not like trying to, it will almost be, I won't even think about it. It will be like instinctual. I'll just be like, I just open it up and I'm not thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing this because I want even just the hits of attention and positive, positive attention, whether it's a match or a compliment or something.
Exactly.
But the only reason I think I haven't been relying on that as much, not because I got healthier, because it was like, oh, I've just been less horny because I've been eating like shit most of the past like 12 months or so. So I've been less horny, and therefore I've been way more into like coming home, smoking a bowl than finding someone to put my dick in.
Yeah.
But I do feel everyone I've been putting my dick in, I do feel I feel better about.
Yeah.
I feel like they were all conscious choices.
Yeah.
So whatever sex I have been having this year, I was like, I've chosen these encounters because sometimes I would just like fall into things. I'd be like, well, someone thought I'm pretty and I should have sex with them because who knows when people are going to stop thinking I'm pretty.
Yeah. No, that's exactly same. Like that's what my therapist said to me like one of the first times that I saw him. So back like 5 or 6 months ago, whenever I first started seeing him, he was like, you know, you don't have to have sex with people just because they want to have sex with you.
Right?
I was like, what?
Crazy?
I honestly was like, wait, what? I was like, are you kidding? I was like, because I always felt like if someone was interested in me, then I like had to, like, I don't know.
I thought
Which
like
is
I had to
fucked
be
up.
grateful for it because it was like, well, people shouldn't want to have sex with me. So when they do, I should do it because like I should. One of the more empowering things I've experienced as a man.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest sentence to ever say. But I did feel a lot more empowered when I learned I'm allowed to say no too, or that I'm allowed to not want to fuck somebody and like that's fine.
And you don't always have to, and also the fact that you don't always have to like give a reason, because I feel like a lot of the time you're like, oh, I should be like, oh, well, I can't because I'm too busy or something, and it's like, no, just be honest and say I don't want to,
or even like when
interested.
I'm hooking up with someone and they want to escalate it to like PIV and I don't want to, like I didn't go on a third date hookup whatever with this one woman because we hadn't fucked. We fooled around, I think, at a play party. I think we met up once, maybe twice. The last time we saw each other, like, we had a drink, we had our fun chats, whatever. And then she brings me up to her place, and we're fooling around, and I'm having fun. I warned her before we went upstairs, like, I don't want to fuck tonight.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that's fine. That's so fine. And they always fucking say that.
Yeah.
They're such men about it.
I hate when people do that. When people are
Right.
like, it's fine, and then they're like pissed.
But then they're not. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like it's not just like they tried to make moves. I don't blame anyone for like making shoot your shots.
Yeah.
But she at one point like got angry
Yeah.
that I wasn't fucking her. She's like,
Yeah, that's
what
not
is it?
good.
I'm like, I told you, I just
You
don't.
just don't want to.
I don't want to yet, or I don't know if I want to with you yet, because like we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
It was like call me weird, but like sometimes I take it slow, as in like not the first date.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time. Like even when I was in college, when I was younger, like I would fuck everybody I fooled around with, and then the older women would get like pissed. Or as if I was like wasting their time. It's like, what? You only want to finger me very well, might I add? By the way, I'm like quite good. No, there are reviews. No, it's like wait, you only want to finger me and make out with me and play with my tits. You're not gonna stick that nice cock in me. Her words, not mine.
Yeah.
You know, I won't call it nice. I'll let other people do it.
Sure.
And I'll be like, what? Like, what the fuck? And so, like,
that's shitty.
I never went back. And I think she's hot. And I enjoy talking to her about comedy because she's like in the sex positive world, but also problematic like me. So I was like, that's all great until you were being a dick. And then, like, she sometimes would like follow up, and I would be like, no. And if she ever were to just say like, why, I would be like, because you made me really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I think that there's a common misconception that like women can't do that or women don't do that. But sadly, like women do that. They do that to other women, and they do it to men too sometimes, because like I think especially we talked about it when you did my podcast, but I think it's especially hard because I kind of get where they're coming from, because as a woman, you're taught, like, if a man doesn't want to fuck you, then you've, like, failed, you know? Like, if you bring a guy home and he seems interested, but then he doesn't want to fuck you, then it's like, oh, my God, you're not hot enough or something. But we need to, like, unlearn that. And we also need to not get mad at someone for not wanting to have sex, because how would you feel vice versa if that was a man doing that
it's
to you?
It's literally happened to you at some point. Like,
and it's scary.
I can't imagine there's any woman who has never ever had one experience where the guy tried, like, kind of was being shitty,
and it's like literally scary. I mean, it's like a scary thing. You're like, oh God, are they gonna like attack me or something? And like, and even if they're not like physically attacking you, just someone getting mad at you is just like really uncomfortable.
Especially when you're naked, which is arguably the most vulnerable time.
Exactly.
Is when you're nude with like a fairly new person.
Yeah.
You're completely exposed, and now like you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the other but I also just want to clarify that, like, not necessarily to you, of course, but to whoever. Whenever I talk to audience, I feel like I stare somewhere away from a guest. Like I will look in all the weirdest places, as if like, where are they?
Pointing at your like little cork board over here.
Yeah. I do want to clarify that I don't mean if a guy doesn't say like want to go down on you, that like I'm not saying don't advocate for yourself or like demand what you want.
Yeah.
But like, don't be a dick, and also it's not, like if the guy doesn't want to eat your pussy but he's still expecting the blowjob, like, no, that's still not cool behavior.
That's fucked up.
It's just when he says like, hey, cool, like if the guy's offering pleasure alternatives, like that's what I'll do. I'll try to say like, I'm not really in the mood to do this, but here's like 3 other awesome things we can do that are probably going to feel awesome for you, if not completely centered on you. If I don't want to fuck someone who's clearly like, I'm very much like, no, but like, let's just eat your pussy for a while.
Sure.
Let's do that, right?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Because I've had women do this on the other side, which is sweet, but they'll almost be like, I don't want to pressure you, but then in fear of not wanting to pressure him or me, they'll not ask for what they want.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, still get it.
Yeah.
But,
No, I think that's hard too. I think that's like another kind of like woman specific thing, is that another thing that you're taught is that like you're not supposed to ask for what you want. Like, in sexually or professionally or anything, you're supposed to kind of just like be like, well, people will know, or like if I like give the right hints, and then like, and I think that especially now that I've been sleeping with women more, I feel like there is a lot of stuff where you're like, as women, like my girlfriend, I feel like she's always like, well, just tell me what you want me to do. And I'm like, well, you know. And then I'm like, no, I have to tell her, because she's not going to do it unless I like ask her or tell her, because I think that she doesn't want to do anything that I wouldn't want, which is very respectful. But then you have to be communicative. You can't just be like, well,
fear, That's fear of asking for something and hearing no, but we have to not be afraid to hear no.
Yeah, definitely. And also I'm like, she wouldn't say no, I think, unless I ask for
Well, I
something
mean,
like truly wild, you know?
Right.
Like something like truly insane, which I can't even like think of anything. But like I feel like if I was just like, I want you to like eat my pussy like 3 times, like she wouldn't be like, no, I refuse, you know? Like she would like want to do that. But it does, you always feel like you're like being demanding. You're like, oh, I don't want to be demanding. I want to like be demure or something.
You said that women can be kind of shitty in that regards to when, with each other.
Yeah.
So have you had experiences like that? Or have you looked back and realized you were kind of like that?
Yeah, I don't think I was ever like really bad, but there was one time where I was like drunk and I was like trying to hook up with this girl, and I remember I was just like stupidly like not getting, I don't think she was like feeling it, and I was like kind of like pulling her like towards me, and she was just clearly like not feeling it. And then like the next day I was like, oh god, I was like grabbing her, and I didn't like think of it at the time. I was like well, I'm like, this is, maybe I'm just too like, I'm too confident. But I was like, well, I've never been turned down by a girl before, so it was like weird to me. But I think that that's the problem, is if you assume that like every single person wants to have sex with you, that's like a crazy thing to assume, you know? So you need to not go in with the thought that like that rejection is impossible. You have to be aware that you might get rejected and then be able to handle it.
Yeah, like rejection's okay.
Yeah, and not make it, because then like later I was like, does she think I'm ugly or something? And it's like, who cares? Like she just didn't want to have sex with me. It's not like,
or maybe just not with you at that time. And that's something. And we've gotten a lot better. Usually I find that if there's like big major problems in a relationship very early on, maybe that relationship should happen. And I'm just going to say that and then tell everyone I'm the exception to that rule right now. Like Meg and I were having some issues with that because my sex drive's just been kind of all over the place, mostly lower, but fluctuating. And so when I would not, we had a little bit of strife when she was trying to adjust to the concept that like a guy who says he's into her didn't want to fuck her. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not about you, because it's also not like I'm off fucking a bunch of other people. Like my dates are on the board. Like you can usually
on this board
tell.
Over here, yeah.
But also sometimes it's like, I just don't want to fuck tonight, and you happen to be the person I have a date with tonight. Like there are other people I have a date with, and sometimes I want to fuck, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Where like I have like one, I guess we'll say partner, where like the entirety of that situation is she likes getting cuddled and being touched because her partners aren't doing it too much. So like I go over, give her some cuddles. We have a little chit chat. I get to masturbate while she touches my body. And then when that's done, like I roll over and give her the cuddles she wants. And that's really all it is. We have never even kissed.
Oh, wow.
Like that's just what that is.
Wow. Yeah.
That's not even like, so. And also I think because of like what I do for work, like people, I think there's a perception that I'm fucking more than I am. And so I've had to like try to explain to Megan, it's like, when I don't want to fuck, or if I don't want to do X, Y, or Z in a night, like it has zero to do with you.
Yeah.
It's all me. You
Yeah.
can't, I know it's hard, but you gotta not make it about you, because it's already rough enough on me. Because like I want to have sex right now, and yet I don't. And usually it's because I feel bloated or unsexy or something with my body, which like compounds it even more.
Yeah.
So I think when when you get rejected, like there's definitely a grace to not making it all about you, and to just let it be, and whatever they're going through is what their situation is. Which might just be they don't like you.
Yeah.
But also
be
could
that,
be a whole plethora of things.
Well, and then that girl who rejected me, this was like years ago, but she like rejected me, and then we were like friends and we would hang out, and I mean, I think she's really hot. I don't think that she's ever been very interested in me, but I was like, I think that I could have made it a lot worse if I was just like, well, why the fuck isn't she interested in me? Like, I could have made it so much worse. But instead, I was just like, well, it kind of sucks, but, whatever. It's fine. Like, it does kind of feel like a blow to your self-esteem. But I think that it's, like you said, I think it's important to remember that not every rejection is, like, specifically about you or the way that you look, or just, it's, like, so much about the other person and what they're going through and what they're interested in. And it's like that with professional rejection too, honestly. Like, it sucks so much, but for comedy, you have to remember that too, because there's like so many times where you're like, see someone got something and you didn't get it, and you're like, well, I'm just as funny, if not funnier than this person. But you have to like remember, like, well, maybe their jokes are better for a late night set, or maybe they're, just stuff like that. And it sucks. It's hard to remember that.
Yeah.
But it's a good skill to have if you can build it up, because then you're not like taking everything personally all the time and you're not sad about it.
All right. Well, Madeleine, are you on a time crunch at all?
Not really. I just have to bring that car back. What time is it now?
I don't actually have my phone in here.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, I was going to say, if you have like an extra like 10, 20 minutes, do a little bonus episode
Sure,
for the Patreon.
yeah.
You got time?
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe we talk a little bit about, I don't know if you had a learning curve with hitting on flirting with women or not, or maybe the difference between... I don't want to say the difference between hooking up with men, hooking up with women, but like as a, I don't know, like you are as a poly married woman who is with men and women. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I feel like I just want to make sure we're not erasing the bisexuality. All right, everybody. Just want to make sure we're doing that. But we are going to put it behind a paywall. That's where it's a bisexuality. It's not hidden. It's not invisible. It's just behind a paywall. But for now, you have a great podcast.
Thanks.
Which I was on, and I didn't promote mostly because you got the exclusive on that. I had a girlfriend.
I know.
And I was like, I'm telling them like next week, so I gotta wait.
You gotta wait. Now you gotta promote it. Now that you told him,
Everyone, first go check out my two-parter.
It's 2 parts.
My 2-part episode of 2 Date Minimum.
Sweet.
But yeah, that's a fun podcast about dating, right?
That was really good. Yeah, I really liked that. We talk about polyamory and dating and comedy and just stuff like that.
Yeah. But where else can people find you on the internet?
My name is Madeleine Smith. It's spelled kind of weird. It's
Spelled quite weird.
Spelled real weird. It's Madelein. There is no E on the end, which people always get confused by.
I had it there.
Yeah, I was going to say, have it wrong.
Go,
Get it. Erase it. God damn it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, that's when it's coming out. And then that's when the bonus is coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, exciting. Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, I Madeleine Smith on Facebook and Instagram, and then on Twitter it's Madeleine Murphy because Murphy is my middle name. And my website is MadeleineSmithComedy.com. It's pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Well, Patreon people, all my $5 and up members will hear her bonus episode on Friday because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I don't want y'all to lose it in the shuffle when you're commuting. But for now, why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
Definitely go check me out on 2 Date Minimum. I'm sorry I did not promote it and tell you all about it sooner. Let us both know what you thought about this week's show. She shouted out her handles. You can find me on Twitter at @TheBillyPresida, and I'm on Instagram at BillyIsPresida. Give me a shout out, tag me in a thing in your story, comment on this week's episode. You can also let me know what you thought on the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page. Make sure you like that because the intern Sophia is doing a fucking stellar job posting some fun sex positive memes over there. I hear the people like memes. I don't really like memes. Memes feel like people who like to tell jokes but can't do it in front of an audience. I don't know. You want to shoot me an email? I love emails. It is one of my favorite things to wake up to, aside from a throbbing cock and money in my bank account. You shoot me an email with your comments, your questions, your booby pictures. Do you have a sexy picture of you showing off a Stay Slutty button you might have bought during Cyber Monday? I'd love to see it. You can send any of that over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. People, folks, any gendered humans. I am just right now 5 members away from hitting 200 patrons. That's an incredible milestone. Honestly, more successful comedians have been asking me how they can do Patreon better. So thank you all for showing them how cool I am. But help us hit that 200 mark. I don't see a reason why we can't hit 200 members before December 1st. Become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Next week's going to be a little more serious, a little bit more heavy-hearted. I'm talking with a friend. She's a fellow member of the Hacienda community, and she also was a very close friend of Paige's. And I do hope you all tune in next week. Happy Spanksgiving, everybody. Matua. Make American Thanksgiving uncomfortable again. But if you're too much of a coward, it's also okay if you stay slutty.